Got a cold, Shell?
I do. I was down for the count for about 3 days, and I'm still recovering. So, yeah, I got my
Public chat or studio chat? I can never remember which.
public chat.
Public.
All right.
So you'll have to pardon my coughing.
I hate that expression. You notice that every restaurant, every store, everywhere you go now, they're like, welcome in. Like, what the does that mean? Welcome in. Just say hello. Welcome
Hi.
in. God, it just irks the crap out of me. Hey, Doreen. Hey, Kristen. Hey, Teresa. What's going on, Doreen? Yay, I made it. Hi, all wave. We're all right there. Good to see you all. Welcome back. Sorry, we're running a little late. We had some technical difficulties.
It was my fault.
Kevin says, Little Miss Muffet sat on a tuffet eating her curds and whey. Along came Miss Spider and sat down beside her and said, hey, what's in the bowl, bitch?
Boom.
Everyone survived the storm. I didn't get much here. I know, Chris, you got nothing.
74 degrees.
All right. For us, we got cold. It did get cold. And the kids got to ride their sleds on some sleet. That was it.
We got about a foot of snow. The temperatures are in the single digits, and wind chills are below zero. So, yeah. It wasn't as bad as they thought it would be, though. It wasn't Snowmageddon.
What's going on, Quark? Good to see you on your husband's comp. You are now one tire biter. That'll work. Linda, yeah, we're running late. Wasn't my fault. Stacy, good to see you. Guys, if you see Thomas Combs over there, 7761, that's our friend Stacy. Stacy got me my first birthday present of the season. My birthday's coming up Sunday.
Oh, that's right. Happy birthday. I knew it was in February.
Dude, a licensed 2003 version of Obi-Wan Kenobi's lightsaber.
Nice.
Look at that. Tell me that's not incredible. Stacy, that is ridiculous. When I saw the box come in, I yelled at my wife. I'm like, what did you order now? Because the box is huge. And then it was for me. It wasn't for her. So, Stacy, I love you. Thank you so much for that. Too sweet. I wanted to share that. Sorry. All right. Did I lose everybody with that display?
No.
Right. But the reason I brought it up is there's other gifts that will be shown here as well. But before we get to that, let's just do our welcome into everybody. Welcome to the Three View Mirror, a weekly podcast, which lately has not been so weekly, but
there will be now.
Life happens, things happen, and sometimes we're not able to do the things we want to do, but we're here today. And generally speaking, we'll be here every single Monday night at 7 p.m. live in front of a virtually live studio audience. If you want to, you can catch us live at 7 p.m. Eastern time every Monday night here on YouTube. And it's basically where the three of us get together, me, Shell, and Chris, with three different topics from three different decades, the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s, talking about the best 3 decades of pop culture and the history of the world. But here's the coolest part. Of those 3 topics, there's a secret that goes through them all. And by that, I mean, there's a secret connection that only that week's host knows. So those 3 topics have something in common, something that links them together. And it's up to you, the studio audience, and us, the other hosts, to try to figure it out as the hour goes on. Now, my name is John Katrides, also known as Gen X Jono across social media platforms. Find me on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. And I'm joined by 2 friends, one of which is today's hosts. Start with Chris. Since you're not the host, why don't you say hello?
I'm Chris Clues, speaker and author. I write and speak about 80s pop culture and the lessons we can learn from it for life and work. I'm part of the reason that we were missing for a few weeks because I had a keynote in Virginia Beach and a keynote in Orlando. So I will be in Greenville and Houston in March if anybody is around those areas.
And then this week's host, Shell.
And I am Rochelle O. Black, better known as Gen X Shell online across all of my socials. And this is going to be a very special episode here today. And we're going to talk a little bit about some things. But before we do, I was absent right before Christmas. And I bought these two guys as a Christmas present, and I'm hoping that they will open them before we even begin our show.
All right.
Yeah.
Before we get started, let's go ahead and throw the intro on so I can jump back into chat.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, what's going on, John McGuckton? No problem. We just got started. So, all right, I've got this. This is it, huh?
Yeah.
Chris, did you start opening?
Wait, I even sprung for the good Christmas wrapping.
I
Only
noticed, dude.
Valentine, right. Because they were out of
Valentine.
Ready, Chris?
Hold on. All right, I'm good. 1,
2, 3.
Oh, nice. S'mores.
S'mores.
S'mores. It even
S'mores.
Says there's an A. See that A that says s'mores right there?
S'mores. S'mores.
S'mores.
S'mores.
Oh, no, that's funny.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yep. Plying you with gifts first. So
thank you for that. I'll add that to my pop culture.
Oh, wait, where'd that come from?
That's in the bag too, John.
Oh, I missed it.
Yeah.
Very cool. An ornament.
Yeah, since I got one too. Since we're like a breakfast club, all of us. We are like we're like a YouTube club
that is
here.
Awesome. I love that.
Thank you so much. I have a pop culture Christmas tree. I have probably about 120 ornaments on it, and I would say 90 of them are pop culture.
And I knew that, and I was like, well, John will love the pop culture stuff, and we know you're going to love your s'mores.
Oh, s'mores. Yeah, s'mores. I'm going to be digging it.
I saw those at the store like before Christmas, and I said, that's it. I got to buy the two of you guys.
These look delicious. I'm going to actually
noir.
A little bit of extra cardio tomorrow after tonight.
So as everybody can see, if you're new here, and I do notice a couple new faces, as you guys chat from our virtual studio, we'll throw up your chat onto the screen. So you guys are literally the fourth host of this program. So feel free to go ahead and put those comments in as we go along. The only comment we ask for you to hold back is if you figure out or think you figured out whatever the connection is on this week's episode, hold that until the end. We don't want to ruin it for anybody else. It's part of the fun of the game. So we get that you're smart. We get that you know it. We get that you're awesome. That's great. Hold it to yourself, Horshack. Don't ooh and ruin it for everyone else.
Well, yes, I completely agree. And to start this out with, you guys covered for me, from what I understand, really well the week before Christmas. And I don't know how many of you follow my stuff online, but I'm here to tell the studio audience that there was a very good reason that I have been absent for weeks on end. And that was because my son was involved in a very, very serious accident. My son was shot in the face. And he survived. He's doing good. But this happened a week before Christmas, and I saw somebody on here say praying for me, and I cannot tell you how much I appreciate that. And because it brought up things for me. I still want to have a good time on our show here, and I am the host, but it brought up for me that we've never done a very special episode of the Three View Mirror. And if you remember back from all of our times in the 80s and 90s, there was always those very special episodes that dealt with really sensitive topics. And because my son had been involved in this accident, and I did put up, by the way, a GoFundMe for him. They're on my web pages. You're welcome to go and take a look at those to help with his medical bills. But anyway, to soften it up here a little bit, I wanted to give you guys just a little, I gotta breathe. It's been the most incredibly difficult weeks of our lives. We're coming through it now, but it was very, very difficult. So I dedicate this episode to my son. This is a very special episode. So I'm ready to give you your 3 topics if you are ready.
Of course.
All right. All right. Our 3 topics are Jeopardy, RoboCop, and very special episodes in 80s and 90s TV shows, or 70s, I guess.
By the
So it's a
70s, I
very
think they were still hanging out as after-school specials. They really got to give us the well, we'll get to the specific ones when we get there, but you were right. It really hit the 80s and the 90s.
Yeah. And this is a very special episode that includes talking about very special episodes. So, we ready to begin?
Yeah.
All right. So, let's take it away. Let's take it away with Jeopardy.
Jeopardy's been on longer than I thought it had been on. I remember Jeopardy, really Alex Trebek of the late 80s. I didn't realize how far back Jeopardy actually goes.
The 60s.
Yeah, I had no idea.
Yeah.
The first episode date was March 30th, 1964. So that's pretty cool. Definitely has entered our pop culture lexicon. I don't think you can hear that. Da-na-na-na. We even joke with our friends with that music if they're not getting the question. I remember mocking friends at the chalkboard when they were trying to figure out the math and they were sweating and they were up front in front of the whole class, and we just made it worse by doing that music.
And it would always be great when the Video Jeopardy came on, when they finally came out with like Video Jeopardy, and you heard that do 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 do, and it would come up, and you'd be like, "Yes, I get to see a video."
And the thing is, you have like, I mean, we think about it from the 80s just because that's when we grew up. The 80s was it was like such a time of game shows. And there were a few game shows that were on every day or night, but very few could pull that off. The Price is Right, obviously, every day. Wheel of Fortune every day, and Jeopardy every day. But then we had these other shows that would only come in a couple times a week. And so for Jeopardy to be able to do that 5 days a week, and it's not, I'm surprised at the popularity, because you think about the other game shows that are popular, they're not all that challenging. And so they attract a really wide audience, but Jeopardy is really challenging. The fact that it's lasted as long as it has is pretty impressive.
I love that it literally became part of pop culture, though. I can think of 2 prime examples. One being Cheers, which I thought was hilarious when Cliff made his way onto Jeopardy. And then the second one being White Men Can't Jump, when it was Rosie Perez that was on Jeopardy. Both of those I thought were hilarious.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about Rosie Perez and White Men Can't Jump. Such a great
Quince, Alex, Quince.
Quince.
Yeah.
And somebody mentioned,
she was studying the books.
I think, Price is Right on sick days for me too as a kid. I was just hoping the Showcase Showdown would have some kind of vacation, so that I could see all the models in bathing suits.
See, that wasn't Price is Right for me. There was a show that nobody but me seems to remember called Sale of the Century. And for whatever reason, those models were always in bikinis. They could be giving away a kitchen remodel, and right next to the refrigerator and the gas stove would be a ski jet with a girl in a bikini on it.
I remember that show. It was so awesome. It kind of reminds me of when Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy were on at the same time in the evening, sort of right after the local news. And I can remember when Wheel of Fortune still did the thing where you had to shop with your money for what was available. And yeah, I missed that part. Like, I used to be like, no, you're wasting your money. Why'd you buy that? You know what I mean? That was a fun part for me. And then it just turned to cash. But
yeah, it was, I mean, Jeopardy, somebody mentioned earlier, I think it might have been Doreen, like that Alex Trebek is irreplaceable. And it has survived without him, but it's kind of, I don't know, like I guess, Bob Barker was Price is Right, but they were smart to transition Drew Carey into that role a while ago. Unfortunately, they didn't have that with Alex Trebek because he was fighting cancer and was continuing to do the show. He wasn't at a point like Barker was where he was just like, okay, I'm going to transition this on. Nonetheless, he is kind of irreplaceable. The show goes on. But it truly isn't the same without him. Honestly.
It's not. It feels like a jump at the shark. Like I don't think you ever want to live in a world that Jeopardy necessarily goes away, but it's not the same show. It's not even close. Now, we've seen as Gen Xers a lifetime of transition, right? I think our parents, when Johnny Carson came on the Tonight Show, replacing what was it, Jack Parr, That seemed like crazy. That was Jack Parr's show. And then Johnny going on to Jay Leno was like, but the transition worked. It took a minute. It took some time. There was adjustment. You brought up a great example with Price is Right doing the same thing. For whatever reason, Jeopardy for me isn't the same. It's not surviving the transition. Maybe because they had so many special co-hosts, and then they tried this one and that one. I don't know. It felt like it's a trial host forever.
Mayim Bialik is one of those. And then the guy who was volleying out with her was a record winner. Like he was a record. Yeah, Ken Jennings. Yeah. And I'll be honest with you. I no longer watch Jeopardy, mostly because of the time of day it's on. I don't even know when it's on now. I don't have cable. I don't even know where to watch it anymore. And maybe it was just a thing that I think maybe sometimes when I watched it too, it kind of shows me how much I don't know, even though I know a lot of things. And then
I remember getting excited when I would see like a topic that I'm actually good at. Like if they're like superheroes of the 80s, I'm like, I'm golden. But 9 times out of 10, it's like African nations of the 40s. I'm like, I don't stand a chance in hell. They might as well be 6 topics to make John feel stupid. And when you grew up like bartending, that time of day, we would, for whatever reason, if you worked happy hour in the bar industry in the 80s, Jeopardy would usually go on the TV because the patrons would like to play. There was always a Cliff Clavin at the bar that wanted to play.
Yeah.
Wait, do you guys recall though that this was probably a year and a half ago? They had Jeopardies for teams, tryouts for people that were, whatever. So the funny story is, I send the link to Chris and John and myself, and you have to do this online quiz to try out to see if you could even make it past like the first stages. And it was almost like Kramer coming in from Seinfeld going, I'm out.
Dude, it was horrible.
3 of us were like, yeah, there's no way we're getting on Jeopardy because we all like colossally failed the like door opening quiz to even pass the first thing.
Well, and now I'll give you some hidden secrets about me. I actually auditioned in person for Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. And did really well on that test. I actually went home and checked my answers. I got every single answer right. It was a short quiz. Didn't pass anyway. So I don't know what they were looking for. And I was actually selected as a contestant on the weakest link. But I was on my way down to New York City on September 11th to film on the 13th. And I turned around and came home, obviously. And it never made it back from hiatus after 9/11. So that was the end of that.
Wow.
You were mentioning different Jeopardy pop culture things, and of course, we can never forget the Greg Kihn Band, Our Loves in Jeopardy.
Yeah,
the music video was all about Jeopardy. So, I mean, I think somebody mentioned earlier about the host making the show, and somebody also mentioned Ken is kind of dry, which he is. And I thought Mayim Bialik, like, not just because she was riding the Big Bang Theory. And the fact that she could have brought in a younger audience, I was really surprised that they didn't go with her on the fact that she's also a genius. But I was just watching, I was watching some video of the Gong Show the other day. And I was like, this is like, I mean, this, you talk about a host, like, first of all, they were all like coked out of their minds and they were doing the show. I'm convinced, but there was something about the host that somebody mentioned that I think we're never really going to get back. I kind of compare it to back in the day, for those of you that are sports fans, every local market had their announcer. And he had an accent from your market, and he knew your market. And I would fall asleep listening to the Orioles games. And Vin Scully, who then went on to like the Dodgers. But these guys were like in your market, and you could feel their passion. And it feel the same way about the game shows. And I just don't know that that's ever going to come back.
I don't think so. I saw somebody mention I lost on Jeopardy. I remember that.
So Greg Kihn Band was my loves in Jeopardy. And then Weird Al turned that into I lost on Jeopardy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we've got White Men Can't Jump. We've got Cheers. We've got Weird Al, I lost on Jeopardy. There's SNL that did that huge spoof with Sean Connery. and Burt Reynolds and
Oh,
Celebrity
yeah.
Jeopardy. I mean, it really did permeate its way in for sure.
Your mother, Alex. That's what he would like. Your mother.
And I'm
Match
sure you
Game.
would tell them.
I was just talking to my brother today about Gene Claiborne and Match Game and Brett Summers and all the Match Game crew and how they were all just wasted on that show the whole time they were playing. It was awesome.
Well,
Might be
Hollywood
my
Square-
favorite game show.
Hollywood Squares. I mean, they were hammered on there too.
Mhm.
So
Well,
I love I mean, I am glad that Jeopardy is still on. I think at least we have a game show that, you know, it's more than just kind of guessing, but I also just think we're losing a lot of the, I don't know, like for me, we're losing a lot of the passion behind so many of these things. And that's because we're in a transition period now where somebody was at the helm for 40 years and now they're not.
Mhm.
And we're in that transition period to see what happens.
Yeah. So I think Alex died in 2020.
Yeah.
But as I believe,
It
and
still feels like it's transitioning. I guess that's to my point.
Yeah.
That it's not landing.
No.
Right.
No. I don't know that I've picked it up one time, watched it one time in the last, I think, 10 years. So it might be one of those things that makes its way out. Without Alex, it's not the same. Yeah. So
We're at
hey,
22 minutes. How do you feel?
any last words on
Somebody
Jeopardy?
mentioned Golden Girls. I knew they were on a game show. I didn't think it was Jeopardy. Someone else mentioned, what was the other show that I did not realize? Just to get them all out there. Mama's Family.
I don't remember. I don't recall that one.
Okay. But just because this is a show that the more knowledge we have, the better the likelihood that we're able to solve this at the end. So there we go.
Oh yeah, there were actually very good point. Very special episodes of game shows too, where they played for charities. I didn't even think of that, but you are absolutely correct. That is an excellent tie-in to everything right here. Very, very good catch on that one.
I love those. I love when they put, like when I was younger as a college kid, I loved that they bring kids on for very special episodes where they had kids on the show. But those kids were like ridiculously smart and annoying, so still didn't help my case any.
Those were the kids that won the spelling bee. So anyway, we're going on, moving on to our second topic of the day, RoboCop. I think everybody remembers RoboCop. Please tell me you've seen it.
When it first came on.
Yeah. Thoughts on RoboCop?
I think RoboCop is, the 80s were just full of great action, sci-fi, like stuff that really looking into the future. And in some ways it was bleak, but it was also like colorful. Like if you look at like Blade Runner, for example, they had all these great colors versus the stuff today where if they do something sci-fi, it's just bleak. Like everything is just dead and ruined. And so that kind of fascinates me, the juxtaposition between the ones that were looking forward in the 80s versus the ones that look forward now. And I haven't seen RoboCop since I saw it in the theaters either.
Couple thoughts on it. I'm pretty sure, and I'm checking my math right now. MPAA on that one might have been, it was R. All right, I'll give him that. It was rated R, but no, I'm sorry, it was PG-13 at the time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think it's been retrofitted to R now. It was bloody. It was a lot of dead people. Starting with the protagonist, which led him to becoming RoboCop. But in any event, not only was it that, I want to say, I remember like a McDonald's tie-in. Like, here's this movie with like all this violence and people shooting, the cop shooting the robbers and the this and the that and all this violence. And, get a RoboCop toy in your Happy Meal.
But you know what did they have that? But the funny thing is though, even if it was PG-13 back then, we wouldn't have had any trouble seeing it as an R back then. I've seen it multiple times. I don't know why. We had HBO there for a little while. Maybe it was out on HBO for a while, but I could clearly remember. And it was his voice that he had this weird, voice. I don't even know. I can't repeat it. I don't know. Oh, they made a RoboCop too? I didn't even know they made RoboCop too.
Yeah.
Well, and they made a RoboCop cartoon as well, which directly was towards us kids.
Right, because everybody assumed that us kids would have saw this very bloody movie way back then. There was no holds barred on that. Somebody said it was a Temu version of Terminator.
There was a lot of
Stacey said it was insanely violent. People remember the cartoon.
That there was a lot of blood in the 80s. I mean, I feel like they were just like, for some reason, I don't know, like the 70s, of course, had some blood as well, but the 80s was like, they just went all in on the violence. Everything from like, you know, Commando, where I think Schwarzenegger had 83 kills, if I'm correct. I think that he and Stallone were trying to one-up each other on the amount of kills they could get in one movie. And that was like a fun kind of silly movie. To then you have like, you know, RoboCop, you have the slasher films. I mean, it just felt like everybody was just trying to like, okay, if we can get away with this violence because we have PG-13 and R, we're going to go ahead and do it.
See, I did not know it was supposed to get an X rating. See, and maybe I don't know that I was desensitized to violence back then, but you're right, there was a lot of it. But I don't recall the movie being all that bloody.
It was ridiculously bloody. It was ridiculously violent. But to Chris's point, in the 80s, when you're 9 years old and seeing Jaws in the 70s, RoboCop in the 80s just doesn't hit the same. Yeah, we were desensitized to it, but I don't think desensitized is the right word, because in real life, violence still affected us. When we saw violence in the real world around us, it bothered us. I just think we were able to, I can only call it cartoon violence. Just because we saw Tom and Jerry hitting each other with guns and frying pans, we were able to distinguish between fictitious violence for entertainment and violence in the real world. I don't think it desensitized us. We were just able to compartmentalize it.
And I do think too, it's like I remember watching Cujo. Cujo, I can remember being very bloody. The dog was very bloody, and it was like they said later it was covered in like red Karo syrup is how they got the dog to be all bloody, you know. But I knew in my heart of hearts that the dog was an actor and he was covered in something. It wasn't that realistic. Some of these, you know, bloody scenes and stuff, I think you could look at it and be like, yeah, it's not that realistic. Whereas today's CGI and stuff makes it very, very realistic. Excuse me, I've had a cold.
Well, I think the 80s was such an interesting time on so many levels, but because you had the 60s where the blood and whatever they did, which was very minimal, was so not believable. Then you had the 70s where everything was like super gritty. So it was super like if you watch like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original one, it feels real. It feels like a documentary. It's really kind of creepy and disturbing. And then you get to the 80s and they've got this like these new special effects now. And so they're able to do like the slash of the throat and all these things and make it look real. But we were looking at it knowing that it wasn't, because it was so, somebody mentioned over the top. I think it was so over the top that they have movies like Chopping Mall. Remember the robot that went through killing everybody in the shopping mall? Like they were taking advantage of everything they could. Blood. And then you get to, you know, the 90s and beyond, and everything started to kind of level out a little bit in terms of like, the kind of finding, I don't want to say the sweet spot when it came to blood, but kind of the sweet spot. And the 80s was just over the top with everything. So I agree. Like, I think for the most part, we were looking at the gore and the blood in these movies and just going, it was fun because they were taking advantage of the special effects, but it was clearly like over the top, as somebody said.
Mm-hmm. And from what I read this, I had to read into this, but that the movie RoboCop actually had a whole lot of political commentary in it, that the whole thing was very like anti-Reaganomics. And I did not know this, but apparently, because I didn't catch on to that stuff whenever I was a kid watching it, but apparently a lot of the movie was all about greed and pointing a finger at Reagan's policies at the time.
No idea.
I didn't know that at the time. I didn't know it now.
Yeah, I had read that actually whenever I was doing my research for like which one of these, what topics do I want to include here? And, I even had to go through, it has been, what, 20, 30 years since I've seen the movie, whatever it's been. And I actually had to go through as soon, though, as I read through the plot of the movie that Murphy had to get turned into a RoboCop by a greedy guy. And then he had to go after Boddicker, whatever it was. I recalled that. It was funny that like you look at the plots of these, if anybody remembers it, and it was capitalism and all that stuff. But I recalled the movie after having reread, and I was like, oh, now I can picture scenes in my head. Sometimes it only takes that to remember stuff.
My biggest takeaway goes back to the fact that we were not old enough to have been able to watch this movie, and yet so much of the marketing, the subsequent tie-ins from fast food, the cartoon after the fact, toys. There were RoboCop toys available. There were action figures available. Here was this thing, which to your point is political satire, possibly, definitely violent, definitely rated beyond what we could watch it. And yet, look, all this stuff came out for us kids. They knew we were going to watch it. You don't roll the dice on maybe these kids. Today, you would never do that. There's no way anybody would be spending that level of money directing marketing and toys at kids on a movie they wouldn't be able to see. But back then, they knew we were going to see it.
Yeah. Yeah, no one cared. Yeah.
Well,
I did not even, I was a girl, so I wasn't buying a RoboCop toy, but there was just, I can recall the movie with Murphy's voice as the RoboCop when he, and then he remembers who he is and all that, was, that's what stuck with me was his gravelly, nasally voice, kind of like me right now with this
Weller
stuff.
was the actor. Peter Weller?
Peter Weller.
Peter Weller.
Yeah.
That's the only actor I remember in that movie. I don't know that I don't remember any big actors in that film.
There weren't.
I don't remember much of a soundtrack connection.
There was a newscaster in it, right?
Lisa Gibbons.
Thank you. Yeah, Lisa Gibbons.
Oh, no, I did not remember that either.
She's the only other person I recognize. Lisa Gibbons.
Lisa, yeah.
From like Entertainment Tonight.
Yeah.
But it is kind of interesting that there was. I mean, I'm not like the crazy sci-fi person. Like some people get really deep into sci-fi, but I do enjoy sci-fi, and I do find it kind of cool because if you look at what they're talking about and how they're showing it versus what happens 30 or 40 or 50 years down the line. And we talked about a month ago or so about war games and the AI with War Games and Terminator in the early 80s. And now we're really talking about that. It's here, it's happening in a real way. But even like H.G. Wells doing the Time Machine back in the, somebody's going to correct me on this, but I think it's like 1880s, maybe 1880s, 1890s when he wrote the Time Machine. And if you go back and you read that and you read what he was kind of seeing, it's pretty insane. And the RoboCop kind of falls into that category. Yes, there were some, I'm sure, political or social messages, as there usually are in movies that are futuristic. The whole reason that they are futuristic is to kind of drive, hey, this is where we could be heading if we're doing this, or this. Minority Report is a great example as well, more recently. But I don't know. I just think it's cool that they look back and say, all right, so what did they, forget the robot cops aside, what did they get right? Like, are there little things in the movie where we're like, wow, you know what?
Yeah, I mean, I think a big part of it was, I'm pretty sure if I remember right, like all of his actions were recorded. He had a dash cam, he had a body cam, as part of his thing. And that's a big deal now for all kinds of reasons. So they got that right. I think it was more about, it was really cool as we saw from the $6 million man being a cyborg on up, we saw the melding of humanity and pop and technology. You had $6 Million Man, you had RoboCop. I sounded just like him when I was stuttering a second ago, but that would be, what was his name on the TV?
What?
Oh, come on. Who am I thinking of?
Knight Rider?
No, he was on TV.
Oh, Max Headroom.
Max Headroom. So he
Oh,
was
yeah,
another
yeah.
one that was turned into technology. There was a lot of that trope back in that time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
His
Definitely.
memory was admissible as evidence.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's. I mean, listen, it was a. I kind of want to go back and watch it again now because it has been a long time since I've seen the movie, and it does have a pretty significant place in pop culture.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when you say RoboCop, even people who may not have seen it, they know it. They know the name.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, "Oh yeah, RoboCop. Yeah, that was a movie." And I'm pretty sure like there's some. I got to think about this a little bit, but just like there's athletes' names with named after Transformers, I'm pretty sure we've had some that where they used RoboCop or something similar, and it was all because of that movie.
John Junkin says most violent movie still to this day was Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. Tomatoes killing people and people killing tomatoes. He still cringes at eating a BLT to this day, but he makes the sacrifice, as do I.
That sounds like The Blob. Remember The Blob?
Linda has the full Max Headroom series on DVD. I remember the TV show. It lasted for like a season or part of a season.
And yet, was that all it lasted? But yet everybody knows who Max Headroom is.
Well, then he started doing commercials. I think it was 7-Up commercials that had him.
Pepsi, I think, right?
I'm not sure. Definitely entered the pop culture lexicon, though. And that's it. Once something goes from being TV, a movie, a song, and enters into actual pop culture, then it's jumped to the next level. And RoboCop did that. I'm sure there's a remake on the way. That's a movie that today would probably get remade pretty.
Well, they already remade it.
I think there's another one. How long ago did they remake it?
2014. 10 years ago?
12 years ago.
I do not recall that.
Me neither.
They are remaking Bloodsport, and I'm kind of here for that. So
you know they remade Toxic Avenger and it went kind of under the radar.
No, and Toxic Avenger is awesome.
Yeah, they remade it and it had Peter Dinklage in it. And I was so looking forward to it. Then I never heard anything about it. And then I saw it went like straight to video or something. I would have watched that because Toxic Avenger was a really cool movie when I was a kid.
It was fantastic. Trauma Films, they did some great stuff.
Yeah. We used to watch Demolition Man and the Toxic Avenger. Those two movies I saw over and over again together for some reason. I don't know why. But anyway, yeah. All right. So RoboCop. Have we spent enough time here on RoboCop?
I would say.
Yeah.
Okay.
Got all I got.
All right. Well, then we get to our final topic here today, which is very special episodes of 80s and 90s TV shows. And who wants to start it out?
I mean,
which
John,
ones do you remember?
John, you love this category.
I mean, I remember all of them. I remember the different strokes where Mr. Carlson, the Maytag repairman, played the part of a bicycle repairman who wanted to do very wrong things to Arnold and his friend. And that one specifically bothered me because they never turned off the laugh track. There are the most inappropriate things being said in the most serious of moments, and then the laugh track will just come on. I remember Punky Brewster's friend Sherry getting stuck in the refrigerator, which taught us the importance because the old man didn't know how to do CPR and she would have died. But there was an assembly that taught one of the other kids how to do CPR and they saved her. Jay Boozy's talking about Scott Baio getting high. That was an after-school special. But what we're talking about now is actual normally happy, funny shows that would get serious for a moment and have a very special episode. Facts of Life did one. They all did. And they would sometimes preface it. Mr. Willis and Arnold's dad, the actor, Rainey, whatever his name was, prefaced the show by saying, we're going to have a very special episode. Sometimes they just went into it.
Yeah. And I recall that these very special episodes hit on just about every topic, every dangerous topic that I could think of. Drunk driving, getting high, diddlers and people dying, overdoses, abortion, LGBTQ stuff, everything.
Tom Hanks being an alcoholic on Family Ties.
Yeah.
Matthew
Yeah.
Perry dying as a drunk driver on Growing
Yeah.
Pains.
Yeah. I was going to say Growing Pains and Family Ties had definitely some big episodes related to them. Definitely.
And it goes back even further. I think the earliest I can remember is Maude, which was B. Arthur before Golden Girls. So we're going into the late 60s, early 70s. Her character, although she looked 70, had an episode story arc where she had an abortion on a comedy.
Mm-hmm.
And they talked about it.
There was I know a very special episode that broke my heart, actually, and it wasn't even meant. Well, two of them actually broke my heart, and one of them was when John Ritter died, and they did the 8 Simple Rules one. That was a very sad episode. And then also One Day at a Time also had a lot of stuff. Yeah, and then the other one was when Mr. On Sesame Street, Mr. Hooper.
Oh, yeah.
When he died, oh my goodness, like that broke my heart. Like I still can't go back and watch that one where Big Bird's going, well, isn't he coming back? When's he coming back? And I just, it was just a very, very sad episode. That one was real, but it was still a very special episode, dedicated.
Yeah, I mean,
All in the Family with Edith's friend. That was a big one. So it really a recurring character. Never saw it coming. All of a sudden, mugged and then killed. Or Edith herself being attacked. Here's something we'd watch as a comedy just to laugh. And this guy breaks into the Bunker's house and holds Edith hostage, basically. And that's traumatic, man. There was no warning on that one. All of a sudden, you're just in it.
Somebody mentioned Marsha getting hit with the football in the nose.
Another very special episode. Beauty damaged in that manner.
Edith was supposed to have gotten from what I understand. Yeah.
Well, no, she put like hot. She was going to. She fought the guy off.
Okay.
I remember that one now.
Yeah, she fought the guy off. Yeah. She like had something she pulled out of the oven because he wanted to eat, and she threw it at him, and she got out, but almost. And that was the insinuation. Again, on a show like All in the Family. Crazy. Yeah. Jesse Spano. Yes, Kevin. We can't not mention Jesse Spano's Vibrant addiction.
Yeah, when she was
so excited.
Mm-hmm. She was already a little bit wired, shall we say. And then when she went on, and she was, that girl is not a great actress. I'm sorry.
I'm so excited. I'm so scared. It lives forever in my head. And I was in my 20s. I had no business watching that show.
And then there was plenty of things where people got into car accidents and died. I can remember the one episode of Family Ties when Alex's friend, he had, it was like an Emmy Award winning episode where he had his friend died and he was supposed to help his friend and then he felt guilty and they did this like whole survivor guilt thing. Yeah, where do you remember that one?
I don't, but you bring up a great point when you say he won an Emmy, because a lot of these, that's why they did them, not necessarily just to win awards, but this was sweeps weeks fodder. So when they wanted eyes, when they would most count, that's when they would throw these on there, and they would advertise the hell out of them, and you'd get the message, don't miss this week's very special episode on Family Ties. And you got Tom Hanks throwing, Alex P. Keaton onto the floor because he needs to, what was it he was drinking? Vanilla extract, if I remember correctly.
It had alcohol in it and cough syrup. There's somebody
it was literally vanilla extract, and I've never checked to see why. Because to my knowledge, vanilla extract does not contain alcohol, but he was drinking one little bottle of vanilla extract after the other.
I forgot about Tom Hanks on there. Yeah. Yeah.
I often wondered if it was a requirement as part of the season that they had to do a show that was going to be a teaching moment for everybody's watching, particularly the kids. Like, not that somebody forced them to do it, but almost like it was kind of like known that, hey, you're using the public airwaves, and so you're going to have this one episode a year that's going to be a teaching moment for kids.
I can tell you that is an actual, or was an actual requirement legally for children's television programming. That's why G.I. Joe, the more you know, that's why there was always the lesson that they did have to put in some of that. I don't know about, and then for a while, there was legislated family hour, where from 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock was legally designated as family hour. You couldn't show certain things, and maybe you had to show certain things, to your point, but that got knocked down eventually as censorship. And I kind of wish it would come back. I get that it might be censorship, but to your point, they're public airwaves. So I don't know how much of it is censorship and how much is just civic responsibility.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to, like, my brain is not remembering a lot of the special episodes. I mean, this isn't really a special episode necessarily, but I do remember because Magnum PI was my favorite, where he got shot and he was basically dead. They were killing him off, and people lost their ever loving minds. And so they actually brought him back for an entire season. It was supposed to end with him like floating up into the clouds, and then everybody lost their minds, and we were like, no. And I remember back then killing off a main character. Like, you know,
Yeah.
a side character, somebody who's on a couple episodes, a main character, that never happened. Who shot JR was probably the one that broke the.
But he didn't die.
He didn't die, but there was, you know, everybody thought he was going to die.
Nobody thought he was going to die. Larry Hagman wasn't going anywhere.
Cliffhangers and back, you knew
that now, but back then
It wasn't who killed JR, it was who shot him. We knew he was coming back.
Yeah.
Back then, people really didn't know because they had to wait a whole week.
No, we had to wait forever, dude. If you don't remember, that was not only the next season, that was writer's strike, delayed that by some. That's why it caught fire, because there was a vacuum that needed to be filled. The writer's strike delayed the new season by weeks and weeks and weeks. So that's all they could talk about.
Because I can remember we all in the 80s, though, we knew if who shot JR, the JR was coming back, because nobody killed off main characters back in shows back in the day. Not very often. They always killed off side characters. There was always the disposable characters that they killed off. Nowadays, you could kill off a main show on a character, and it's what some of the things that make these newer shows, I think, a little bit more, I don't know, fun and exciting. You get to the next season, and right at the end of the one, somebody does die, and that, you know. Yeah. Oh yeah,
the only thing that could kill off a main character in the 80s was a contract dispute. That was about it.
Yeah, that's true.
Or, you asked for too much money, you got the script in the mail, and it was, see you later, buddy.
Or you did what Joey did, and he, you know, said that he wrote the episodes for the soap, and then he gets their script that Dr. Drake Mormore is going to fall down the elevator shaft and die. So, okay, I'll show him.
Yeah.
Somebody mentioned Baywatch. Didn't they do like a skin cancer episode?
Yeah.
I'm sure they did.
Yeah, I think
that was when Mitch was no longer the chief, the captain, the head guy, and it was what's her face. Then it got preachy. Now all of a sudden they get rid of the slow motion, running in the bathing suits. All that went away, and we got preachy about skin cancer and wearing sunscreen. If you want to jump the shark moment, it's when Yasmin Bleeth stopped running and they started applying SPF 50. I'm sorry, that was the end of Baywatch. That and Baywatch Nights. That was pretty bad too.
Yeah, Baywatch Nights was pretty bad.
We all know why you were watching that beginning of that episode.
beginning, middle, end. It was awesome. Listen, they had guys in shorts running too. It was equal opportunity entertainment.
Did you have a baby chick named Yasmin Bleeth?
If somebody said The Walking Dead as a TV show wasn't afraid of killing off main characters. No, yeah, that was one of the things I really kind of liked about that show there for a while. And then it got kind of like, well, okay, I can't expect anybody. You know, now I have to get every new season that came along. Then you were like, great, now I have to get to know a whole bunch of new people.
They jumped the shark when they killed Glenn.
Never saw a single episode.
That was when I was like, okay, like I'm all about like killing off these characters, but you know, that one was kind of like, all right, yeah. So
Paint Freckles, well, appropriately named Freckles, got skin cancer at 30. I was not making fun of cancer. I was just wanting more running.
Fun.
I've had three. I've had three, so I know all about it. Like it's.
What about the very special episode of Sanford and Son where Aunt Esther and Woody couldn't conceive, so they adopted a kid? Fred joking that it wouldn't because the kid would look like King Kong. That's so, man. But yeah, to my point real quick again, though, I mentioned how they would do these things during sweeps weeks, and then you'd get the promo where they're like, don't miss this week's episode. But then on shows like Entertainment Tonight, they would get even more press about it because they would point towards, like, on tonight's, and then they'd bring the stars on to talk about how important the work they were doing was. You had these people who were doing pratfalls for a living, talking about very serious topics and then going back on it. It was really a moment in time. It's not something that really happens anymore because I don't think there's any show that is strictly fun anymore. So these sitcoms that did the very special episodes, but even sitcoms, you watch a sitcom, it doesn't take every sitcom still has these preachy moments, sad moments, every single one will have moments of serious thrown in. Whereas when we were growing up in the 70s and 80s, the sitcoms, unless there was a very special episode, there was nothing in there that would make you think twice. It wasn't intended to.
Yeah, the only one, the Big Bang Theory most recently in terms of sitcoms, they only had in 12 years, they only had one real kind of serious episode. And it was only half of the episode. And it was when, oh man, now I'm forgetting his name. Oh my God, I watched the show a lot too. Anyway, one of the characters' moms died, but she also died off screen. The actress passed away.
You're a billion% right. I always will point to Big Bang Theory and say that is a 70s, 80s era sitcom. Totally. That was a throwback, 1,000%.
Yeah. And they had that one episode. Now, they didn't do an episode a year, but they did it because the actress really passed away off screen. And so they had to, they didn't want to continue having, oh my God, what the hell is wrong with me? Why can't I think? I need serious Prevagen, man.
Jolt. Dude, I have a bottle of the new Jolt Energy Cola before every show now. 200 milligrams of natural caffeine, and boom, my brain is like, zing, zing, zing. I'm saying things like Lisa Gibbons was on RoboCop.
Sheldon, Leonard, Raj, and
Jack?
No.
I never watched the show.
Jamal.
Howard.
Trying to ruin it.
So they didn't want to replace her with another actress, and so they just did an episode where she passed.
Howard's mom, yeah. Stacy just gave it to us.
Thank you. Yes, Howard's mom. Stacy's mom has got it going on.
Which is another throwback. That's a song that was in the 2000s, but I always confuse it and think it was an 80s song.
Well, yeah, because the music video was great too with Kim Basinger. So,
Passenger.
Come on, dude.
S'mores.
Her
name is Kim Basinger.
Not Basinger. No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
No.
Yes.
Her name does not rhyme with passenger. It's Basinger.
It is not Basinger. It's Basinger.
I always called her Basinger. I will say, unless you're jacking with us, I always called her Basinger.
I'm messing.
Okay. I was like, okay, I don't know if I'm not a s'mores. I'm not fully a s'mores.
Bionic Woman died. Yes, Roman Perez. Bionic Woman died and they brought her back, but strictly because they wanted to make the show. She was that popular.
Yeah. All right. So we are heading up to 8:00 here. Yeah. Do we have anything left about very special episodes on this very special episode of the Three View Mirror?
I will just say I will forever see clips from the Different Strokes very special episode. And if you haven't, it's worth catching it on. It's disturbing. There's talk of pornographic cartoons. They talk about cartoon mice taking off their clothes and doing things. And all the while, the laugh track is just going on. It is by far the worst miss ever on something that it's just bad.
I don't know if I want to, but I'll take your word for it, but
you should see it. It's something you need. It's kind of like the Star Wars holiday special. As bad as it is, everyone needs to put eyes on it at least once.
Yeah, I not searching for that one.
No, me neither.
You gotta put it in your search history.
Okay.
God darn.
So okay.
I will say I'm lost on this one.
Okay, well, I said that it was a very special episode. This whole thing was a very special episode. And I prefaced this whole thing by talking about something very personal for me, which was my son being involved in getting shot in the face, surviving. That it was some of the worst things and moments of my entire life. We missed Christmas this year completely. We missed New Year's. The Christmas tree's still up. We still have not celebrated Christmas. But I prefaced the very special episode with that because we are talking about something very serious when it comes down to something like that. There's one main theme that runs through Jeopardy. Going back to our topics again, Jeopardy, RoboCop, and very special episodes, one in particular. Has anybody made a connection about what, because it is related to my son, anybody made a connection? I think some people in the chat here probably actually know. No, it's not gun violence. No. It's not gun violence. And when you think about I'll give it a second. So I'm sorry. It was I don't know how to put it. There's never a moment in a parent's life that was more scary than that right at that moment right there. It was no. And it's not Survivor. I didn't know some people, I'm still giving it a second.
I've got nothing. I mean,
nothing?
Like I said, I went through I was trying to think of the cast of RoboCop to see if there'd be a connection there. I couldn't think of anybody because I'm like, okay, they had a very special episode. Somebody brought up the fact that Jeopardy and other game shows have special episodes like College Tour or Celebrity Jeopardy. That didn't make its way in for me.
All right, I'll give it to you. I don't see anybody in the comments coming up with it. The host of Jeopardy.
Was Alex shot?
Alex. Murphy's first name, the RoboCop, his first real name was?
Peter? Oh, no, I'm thinking of the actor.
Alex.
Okay.
And one of the biggest, best two-part episodes on Family Ties was Alex P. Keaton in the episode titled, My Name is Alex. So the connection is Alex. And my son's name is Alex. So I wanted to do, I'm going to cry. I wanted to do a very special episode dedicated to him to bring together 3 Alexes in our topic, still keeping it light, still keeping it on topic, but my son's actual name is Alex. And that is the connection that makes this to a very special episode. And then another thing that makes it a very special episode is he decided that he would make a little showing here. So would you like to see him?
We'd love to see him.
Okay. All right. Come here.
I'm going to have to get on my knees. You can stay there.
I don't know if you can get in, baby.
Not that big yet.
Hey, Alex. Glad to have you with us, buddy.
Yeah. This is
in every
Alex.
way possible.
Mm-hmm. He has a broken neck. He's got he's healing miraculously, but he has a lot of things, and so this episode is.
We got Alex Trebek, we've got Alex the RoboCop, we've got Alex P. Keaton, and we got our own 3-view mirror miracle, Alex sitting right in front of us, buddy. God bless. I'm so happy that you're able to be there with us, and I know your mom and dad are super strong, but dude, you are stronger than all of us. I can't believe the recovery you're making.
Yeah.
He's making a wonderful, wonderful recovery.
We've got Alex the badass here. The Alexes we have. Yeah. That's
Everyone's
awesome.
throwing out prayers for you, Alex.
We're so
Glad
happy.
you're doing better. Prayers coming in for healing.
He's like, He's like, I want to go. I could tell by the look on his face. He's like, okay, Mom, you can't
No
cry
worries.
with the camera. Right there. Yeah. So, and just to give everybody here a little idea of what a miracle he actually is, I had said it in a video. He was shot in the face, but the bullet actually went into his mouth, hit his lip, so he doesn't have any facial scars. The bullet went in at close range. It went through his mouth. He has no bone he didn't smile on here, but he has no bone all the way through here. And it went in, it hit his back vertebrae, and it did not shatter. The bullet literally stopped. At close range, it should not have stopped. It should have gone out. It should have hit something. It should have shattered his vertebrae, made him paralyzed. It did none of those things. And he truly was our Christmas miracle. I thank you to my Gen X family here for understanding that I was absent for Christmas and for a very long time on here just for those things. Yeah, so and he's been an absolute amazing child. So yeah, Alex is our connection.
Awesome.
Well, I have no words. I mean, honestly, I'm a dad. I don't think you need to be a parent. I think all of us have experienced loss or threat of loss or near loss of a loved one. And I'm just glad that I can't imagine the pressure you went through, the stress you went through. It is a big part of why we've been absent since the holidays. It was up to Shell to share when and if she felt like it. As it's private, we share a lot of our personal lives on camera, but by no means is anybody expecting anyone to be forced to share their personal stuff. But appreciate you guys for being patient and for being here when we came back.
Yes, we appreciate all of you. Yeah, he's quite he's like a changed person too. This was such a big thing for him. Like, he is more motivated now than I've ever seen him, just to be lucky to be alive. He's absolutely lucky to be alive, let alone paralyzed or anything else. He's absolutely a miracle.
God bless.
Yeah.
Not much more I can say.
No.
All right, guys. Well, we are back, and I hope we're back consistently, because I think that's enough of let's have a wonderful 2026 moving forward, and a lot less of anything that causes that kind of worry. I think I'm up next week. Yeah, I think you got us right.
I asked for this week.
Yeah, I think I'm up next week. So join us back again next Monday, 7 p.m. Hey, Hyde Park, how are you, buddy, Mike? And I'm up. And it won't be a very special episode. There's not going to be anything special about it. It's just me and a silly connection. But I got mine planned out, and I'm hoping to see you guys back here. Thank you all for being here.
Yep.
Shell, awesome. I never would have gotten it. But that's not what makes a good episode. This is a great episode, whether I got it or not.
Whether you got it or not, it's all about this very special episode dedicated to my son, Alex. And I thank you all for all your prayers and your well wishes in the comments. I'm trying to look through them, and thank you so much. We couldn't have done this without feeling like we were so supported by everyone in the local community and the online community. And I'm literally more thankful than you know.
Love you.
Love you guys too. All
Peace.
of you. Audience, all of you.
Let's see if this thing does a heart. I don't know if it does. Did it used to do that? And it would make
yours always did. Mine never did.
Mine doesn't do it. It used to do it.
All right.